thank you for that very generous introduction, and thank you, SCANPH, for giving me my first excuse to get out of the HUD building in the last few months. And I look forward to spending some time with you in the workshops after today. So, conference organizers asked me to speak about a new vision for HUD's role in rental housing. I think the most important point I have to make today is the fact that that's the title of the speech. Could such a speech, a new HUD vision on rental housing, have been given 8 years ago? Or even 8 years before that? And I think, unfortunately, the answer is not. That it couldn't have happened. Even in the Clinton administration, HUD was not animated by a vision of its role in rental housing. And indeed, over the last 16 years, many have thought, and before that, many have thought that the best thing HUD could do was get out of the way and just give out the money. Now, of course, money is very important, and we're going to have to all be smarter about how to get it, given these fiscal times. But I think the fundamentally important thing about Secretary Sean Donovan and this HUD is that we're not aiming to get out of the way. We believe in the need for a balanced housing policy between rental and home ownership. Secretary, in every speech, acknowledges the long-standing crisis in affordable rental housing, which is, I think, something we haven't heard at the federal level. And he seeks to have HUD catalyze change in local neighborhoods and in communities throughout America and in the lives of the people that affordable rental housing programs affects. As I said, this is my first speech in my new role, so, and I had a long flight from the East Coast, so I had the pleasure of reading some of the Secretary's speeches to help me prepare. And I want to share with you just how really struck I was by the truly ambitious goals that he has set for himself and all of us, the core values that these goals represent, and the intelligence and depth of understanding of the complexity of the problems we face and the comprehensiveness of the strategies needed to solve them. This may be the smartest HUD secretary we've ever had. And not only has the secretary pledged, as he says, as a bedrock commitment to get the federal government back in the business of building and preserving affordable housing, but he has committed to develop and implement a federal strategy to end, not just reduce, but prevent and end homelessness. And he has made all of the HUD programs, including Hope 6 and others, accountable for housing everyone, claiming there is no excuse for claiming that there are people who we don't know how to solve, how to house or can't house. And he's combined in his vision that this is a matter of core values, of the basic decency of a civilized society, but has also linked these values to core goals of the Obama administration, which I think is very important and is a tip I recommend to all of you. That access to safe, affordable housing is a prerequisite to achieving equality of opportunity, to reducing healthcare costs, and to achieving positive educational outcomes, among other goals. But while the Secretary recognizes how interrelated the problems are, that we can't, for example, develop sustainable housing without effective functioning schools, transportation systems, healthcare, etc., that people and places need to flourish for housing to work, and housing needs to work for people and places to flourish. So federal strategies must be as multifaceted as the problems they're trying to solve. And I think you see that vision in its first incarnations and several of the proposals in HUD's 2010 budget, which we can discuss more in the workshop. For example, the Choice Neighborhoods Initiative to replace Hope 6 and look more comprehensively at the problems of neighborhoods of concentrated poverty, and the Sustainable Communities Initiative that in its initial year will provide planning grants to communities to enable them to bring all of these sectors together. The Obama administration is reinforcing this multifaceted approach to